Right, now, I'm conscious of the time, which is getting on a bit, and giving all of the candidates, you know, perhaps 5 minutes to sum up. I don't know whether you all want to work the room for that one, but I'm going to take 2 more questions. I'm sorry if unfortunately one's not you, Paul, but I'm sorry, but I've got to wind you up. People can't even expect to stay all day, especially the people who come up from home. I don't know where you've come from actually, but I'm sure everybody's travelled quite distances. Well, probably the furthest of anyone. So I'm just going to 2 more questions from people in our branch. One from Frank. Frank. Yeah.
Frank Kelly, United. I'd like to mention the official policy of Unite is opposition to the anti-union law, according to the rules. But we lack a programme within Unite to bring this about. So what I'd like to ask the candidates is, how would the candidates suggest that we begin to develop a programme within the union to fight back against these anti-union laws?
Right, good question. I'm actually the person who's going to ask the other question, and my capacity as chair. It's obviously I'm asking all the candidates. It's something that I'm asking for the reason being, in a study within the last 10 years, it was established that this area, Wigan, by the Greater Manchester Low Pay Unit, was one amongst the lowest paid, if not the lowest paid area in the country, where people are probably taking home, you know, a good, well-paid person, maybe up to £16,000, £20,000 a year. Many employees, obviously, some on greater amounts of money and some on less. What I would like to ask, I'm sorry it conflicts with important question, maybe you can use this as an opportunity to sum up your case in answering these 2 questions, is how we can justify paying our full-time officials, General Secretary, huge salaries of £120,000 when
Yes.
Okay, now, as I say, I think I would finish it. I think it's you to answer that one first, Jerry.
Is this the summing up or a question?
Well, I think if you can, I think we'll try to do it all, and then we can conclude the meeting at the end of it. So, if you'd like to answer 2 and throw your summation at the same time.
Okay.
That's a tall order. I appreciate.
Well, no. You know, if we can't stand scrutiny, then we don't deserve support. I think it's been a tremendous meeting tonight. I'm glad that it's being videoed so it can meet a bigger audience, if you like. On the question of a strategy or a campaign to repeal the anti-union laws, I think that it is essential. We have to ask ourselves, well, I don't want to forever look back, but if we don't learn any lessons, then we'll continue to make the mistakes. Why haven't we already got a strategy? Why haven't we already confronted the anti-union laws? We let Labour off the hook. Yeah. Not 1 term, not 2 terms, 3 terms. Yeah. And we wouldn't be faced with being so angry and so vulnerable right now. Now, all that said, although there is a responsibility for that, and it fits in with your huge salaries as well, part of the question. I tell you this, Frank, in my view, there are times in life and history, and you will know them. The air crackles. I guess in Germany it would have been when the Berlin Wall came down, or in South Africa it would have been the end of apartheid, or here it would have been the poll tax. But it was civil disobedience that brought about these huge changes. It brought about the trade union movement, the suffragettes with the votes for women. Big changes. Not campaigns or lobbies or rallies. They have their part to play and they have their place. It's recognising these moments and seizing them with both hands. I said earlier, and I absolutely believe it. I know, because I was there, I could feel it. Vestas was one of those moments where an illegal occupation could have confronted the anti-union laws. Not just that, it could have brought into focus private ownership and public ownership. We'd spent billions on the banks. Billions on the banks. Now it's just as though there was no crisis at all for them with their billions of profits. For us, we stare into years of cuts. Those axes of evil being sharpened to a razor's edge, waiting to come raining down on us. Raising of the retirement age to 66, 67, 68. Higher, higher. Dead people don't draw pensions. My view is simple. When the opportunity arises, it could have been, by the way, if the appeal that we lodged on the second injunction in BA, which was for 11 spoilt ballot papers, if that appeal had not gone our way, what would we have done? Thousands voted for legal, lawful strike action. And even on the appeal, it was 2-1. If you do the amalgamate, because the first one said it was illegal, that's 2-2. I think if we'd have lost the appeal, we should have confronted the law then, with the confidence of the members, backed up by 1.7 million. And yes, of course, the strike fund cash, the real strike fund, which takes it to its nth degree, which has to be a victory for us. So to me, it's the next Vestas, it's the next hospital, it's the next school, it's the next Lindsay Oil that we support. And then when a judgment is so unjust, the victimisation of a trade union rep, for example, not the 50-50 chance whether they'll win in a tribunal, let's take it on. Let's take it on. That's my view, that you confront the law. That's the strategy. Recognise the opportunity, seize the opportunity, and confront it when that faces us. On the huge salaries. And they are huge salaries. 6-figure and beyond. By the way, only 14 months ago, I was called a liar for pointing it out. £126,937, I said. The then Joint General Secretary, Derek Simpson, was wages.
Shame.
What I missed off was plus perks. That would have made it correct. They called me a liar for pointing that out. I would take an average wage. Not because I want to wear a hair shirt. We need to reconnect with the members. Live the lives of the members. Be accountable each day like the members are to the pressures, the stress, and earn a wage commensurate to our members. That's the way that members of our union, instead of asking the question, why am I in the union? They can say, this is why I'm in the union. When I want an official, they're there. I know who they are because I elect them. And they're on the same salary as me. By the way, as a General Secretary, if I become one, that's what I would take, an average salary. Could I impose that? Well, absolutely not. If any other official wanted to follow my lead, then of course I would welcome that. I think 11 Assistant General Secretaries, probably the legacy of mergers and mergers and mergers, is a little bit over the top. I think he might have renamed 7 of them, by the way. I really don't know. You lose count when you go higher up in the union, and certainly the car and the telephone and everything else. It's just wrong. It's just a business union, living the lifestyle, nothing like that, of our members. Are they bad people? No. Is it wrong? In my view, yes. And on the appointments, I'm going to come to a close with 2 points. On the appointments, I've never said it's a panacea, but I had 10 minutes, and then I had a question. I say on balance, elections are much, 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 much better than appointments. And by the way, appointments is almost, appointments are the person from the biggest workplace. I'll beg this question. Whoever becomes General Secretary, because there will be one, in only a few weeks' time, by the 24th of November it will be announced. There will be a new General Secretary. It will either be one of the other 3 candidates who all believe in appointments, whether it's in a panel or an individual, and who appoints the panel. But you see the next officials or organisers who were appointed to the union. You see where they come from. You see who they supported in this election. And I wouldn't mind wagering they're probably from a big workplace, probably somebody who supported the successful General Secretary. Or, if it's me who wins, you will elect them and you will know who the official is to represent you. And the final point that I make is whether it's the election of officials, whether it's the most democratic, equal union in the country or the world, matter a jot if we couldn't protect our members. Whether the branches were funded and resourced the best in the universe, it wouldn't matter a jot if we couldn't protect that rep, if we didn't repeal the anti-union laws, if we didn't turn back the tide of privatisation. It wouldn't mean anything. We'd have 1.7 million ex-members or ex-employed people. And this is where I end. I went to my I don't mind being a bit personal. Gail often says, you know, I've got a family, I've had a child, I know what it's like. Well, I've got a grandson who actually had a heart transplant, so I know what the NHS is like. And I went to his end-of-term play. 7, he is. And I tell you, I almost wept. Not because he fluffed one of his lines. I almost wept because I looked round that school hall that I had gone to. I had gone to some 40 or more years previously. And I looked into their eyes, and if they once begged the question of me, what did you do? Not say, not punch a table, or have a fine set of policies. What did you do when the cuts came? What did you do when they raised the retirement age so that I never get there? I couldn't look my grandson in the eye if I simply said, well, I said all the right things, but turned away. It's what we do that counts. And I will fight with every fibre sinew in me to instill a confidence for the millions of trade unionists to fight back. And it's only a fight that we stand a chance.